Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Open Mike Podcast. The Open Mike Podcast is unofficially brought to you by Liquid Death. We're hydrating like metal legends and pretending we're having a real sponsorship. Liquid Death, murder your thirst, not your dignity. If you want to support the show, grab yourself a tall boy of water. It looks tougher than my Wi-Fi signal. Liquid Death, unofficially keeping the Open Mike Podcast alive, one sip at a time. Liquid Death, murder your thirst. Oh man, the house is very quiet right now, and I'm kind of enjoying it. It's like I do miss when my. Anyways, I've had the house to myself, and yeah, it's just quiet. You know, nobody but me and the cat and the dog. So it's just quiet here. It's kind of it's strange when it's just me in the house. So, um, but yeah, it's been real quiet, too quiet because I don't like it. I like it when it's quiet, but at the same time, it's like I like the chaos that goes on with it. So, um, but yeah, um, hope everybody's had a good week. Like I said, I've been slowing down on the podcasting lately. Just been busy, but I'm still trying to get one in. You know, about every week and a half or so. So everybody's still tuning in, and I appreciate that. I've had people ask me, you know, if I was going to stop doing it. It's like, hey, nah, absolutely. We're not stopping. This crazy train ain't stopping. We just, slow down a little bit, but it's okay. I'm going to keep creating content regardless. So hope everybody's ready. Um, but yeah, this week, y'all remember, it seems like, so I know people on like both sides of this spectrum, right? So whenever a company does something right and the consumer doesn't like, say the company um like Budweiser a few years ago when they had a trans spokesperson for their beer, right? And a lot of people were like, that's it, not drinking Budweiser, gonna stop supporting Budweiser. I don't stand for that. I don't agree with that. Whatever. I don't agree with that lifestyle. And they got someone that's trans and they're endorsing their beer, and I'm going to stop drinking it. So everybody starts coming forward, saying, all right, that's it. I'm done with Budweiser. And, Budweiser for, a couple months or whatever it was, everybody's like, oh, they're losing money. They're tanking. The stocks are tanking. Which, yeah, stocks took a little bit of a dip because, for a couple of weeks, people were all up in arms over Budweiser, because they had a trans person in a commercial. But, eventually, these people like drink that shit are like, you know what? I really miss my Budweiser. This Pabst Blue Ribbon just ain't cutting it. And eventually they start going back buying Budweiser all over again, right? And the stocks and the money they had lost, it comes right back. And, um, when the NFL had the whole kneeling for the national anthem, thing going on, so many people, that's it. Not watching football no more. The hell with the NFL. I'm done. Not watching it. Not buying jerseys. I'm not buying clothes. People are burning shit, taking barrels and 55-gallon drums, and when you do your evening burns of your tree limbs and your trash or whatever you got at your house, people are throwing the jerseys in there. NFL, the hell with it. Everybody said that's gonna fix them. They'll lose money. It took a little bit of a dip, but everybody's like, we're gonna stop going to games. We're gonna sell our tickets. We're gonna And eventually everybody comes to their senses and realize how stupid that looks. That you're taking and burning a jersey that you've already spent money on, and that's not hurting anybody but yourself. Just donate it or give it away. So, and NFL ratings have been every year they get higher and higher. Like they set records every year. Didn't matter. Um, and then this Sydney Sweeney actress, American Eagle, comes out with um this endorsement of their jeans, saying, Sydney Sweeney has great genes, and then everybody's all up in arms. Oh, it's a play on words. They're trying to say a blonde, blue-eyed, white woman has the perfect genes, genes, not jeans, genes, and maybe American Eagle knew what they said that was not their intention at all. But anyway, everybody gets all up in arms. It's racist. It's this. It's that. It's the other, and they get all pissed. And they're like, that's it. Not supporting American Eagle. Well, half the people that are pissed off wasn't wearing American Eagle jeans anyway, right? So that's it. Not endorsing it. Gets me so mad. I mean, I literally saw videos where people are like, oh, it makes me so angry. And, it just, a lot of times when these companies do these things and people are like, well, I'm not happy. And then the people on the other side of the spectrum like, yeah, we're glad that Budweiser chose a trans person to represent and be a spokesperson for their beer, because now they're aiming at a different audience that they probably never, they never marketed an audience, that side of the audience or whatever, the consumer. And so with the NFL, everybody lost the mark on like why he was doing it, why Kaepernick started kneeling. You don't have to agree with it, but the whole point was, all right, nobody's listening about social injustices and stuff like that. So it takes something drastic to get people to talk about it. Unfortunately, still people said, no, social injustice doesn't exist. And that's not the problem. The problem is you're kneeling for an anthem, and that's disrespectful and whatever. And so, uh, but people on the other side of that, and eventually it all stopped. Everybody stopped kneeling, and they didn't. It just went on. It just got swept under the rug. You don't even hear anything about it anymore. And then this gene commercial and this, that, and the other. Now I've seen since like Dr. Squatch, I think is what it's called. It's like a soap like company, right? Like they make everything all natural, whatever. I think it's mostly men's soap. It can be soap for anybody though. I don't know if there's men and women's soaps, but they came out with a scent called Sydney's bathwater. So they're really rubbing it in now, and I haven't heard anything about that, but everybody just said that Sydney has the best genes was like a play on words, and I really don't think so. And the American Eagle said that was not the case. And they kind of did like Brooke Shields when she was like 15, did jeans commercials. But the problem it was back then, because they said the same thing, like Brooke has great genes, right? The problem back then is it was those ads were very sexualized as she was 15 years old. So that was a little bit different. Um, but now, and everybody said this, the whole woke, everybody stay woke, the woke liberals, everybody blames everything on liberals. Liberals gets in, become a CEO of a company, they change everything. So like over the years, they've taken, they took Aunt Jemima, the woman, I can't remember her name, off of all that, and Uncle Ben's and all those things. All these companies like, yeah, we're gonna do it because we can see them being, symbols of racism, right? And so those companies are like, well, we stand against that, so this is what we're gonna do. When really, in actuality, you didn't do jack shit, because taking someone, a likeness of someone off of something doesn't do anything for racism. If you really want to do something, make serious changes or efforts. That's my opinion. So, but my point is, most of the people that get all up in arms, it's short. It's for a short amount of time. They go right back to it, or the people that are offended never um they weren't consumers of that product anyway. They just it's like they're just so. This past week, Cracker Barrel. I don't know if anybody's ever ate at Cracker Barrel. Um, Cracker Barrel's a country store restaurant, and they got a little country store. When you walk in, it's nostalgic for, and they was I think Cracker Barrel was founded in Tennessee, I believe. So when you go to Tennessee, if anybody's ever driven to Tennessee, you see Cracker Barrel signs like every 10 miles. It feels like they're all over Tennessee, and there's some around here. But they got a new CEO, and everybody says she's a liberal, and so they're gonna revamp Cracker Barrel. And I've seen these fake videos online of them making it look more like a um, traditional. Uh, Man, I don't know the word for it. It definitely doesn't look like an old like Cracker Barrels. When you first walk in, it's a country store, and it's like a lot of memorabilia. It's like a little bit of everything, right? It's candy, and it's toys, and it's postcards, and it's just a little bit of, it's literally like walking in a little old country general store, right? And then you go in the restaurant, and everything in there is like, it's like there's a big fireplace in the middle of the place, and it just has a country kind of vibe, right? And but people associate it as kind of with racism, and I don't really know. I mean, I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I don't think it's a racist restaurant in any way, shape, or form. Um, but yeah, they got a new CEO, and everybody's like, this liberal lady, she's gonna come in and gonna ruin the place. So they're making. I've seen these videos, but I don't think they're real. They make the restaurant look more. They got a name for it. It's like abstract or industrial. Like I think if you guys know anything about like houses, and the videos I've saw made them look more like an industrial, modern looking restaurant. Right? They completely took out the country store vibe, all that, and they changed the sign, the logo, and they removed the barrel, and they removed the cracker, the white guy. So that's not why it was called Cracker Barrel. I don't think so anyway. Uh, yeah, they moved the barrel, they moved the cracker. So it just says Cracker Barrel, and it's a yellow orangish color. And the old sign had a guy sitting there on a rocking chair next to a barrel. And I don't know the history behind Cracker Barrel, how it got named, but anyway, everybody is pissed off, and liberal and the woke, they ruin everything, and we ain't eating at Cracker Barrel no more. That's it. Done. Done eating at Cracker Barrel, not giving her money at Cracker Barrel. Start to take a little bit of a dip. Starts dropping. Everybody's like they're losing millions of dollars. And I guarantee in a month from now, everything will be all right. Those people that swore up and down, we're done with Cracker Barrel, they're gonna realize they can't make biscuits and gravy like Cracker Barrel. I don't think Cracker Barrel food's that good. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, they're gonna get up on Saturday or Sunday morning and like, man, these biscuits and gravy you make, they sure don't take like Cracker Barrel. I sure did miss Cracker Barrel. I wish we could go back, but we can't because that woke liberal lady changed the sign on Cracker Barrel. And, you know, the hell with it. We're going back to Cracker Barrel. But I wonder if they changed the food too. Because if that's the case, like the videos I saw, and like I said, I don't think they're real. People we're going to get into this in a minute, but people will take AI and you don't know what the hell's, you can usually tell what's fake with AI, but I feel like a lot of the things I've seen on the videos I've seen of the new Cracker Barrel was all done through AI. Because I haven't seen not one restaurant, and they're not close to me, so I don't drive by them all the time. But if they change a restaurant and give it that look, that modern, like kind of industrial look, I don't think you can serve country breakfast food there or like country fried steak. It just doesn't fit the vibe. So I don't know what you'd serve in a restaurant look like that, but it definitely wouldn't be Cracker Barrel. It wouldn't be, biscuits and gravy and chicken fried steak. So everybody's all up in arms. It's like, I ain't eating a Cracker Barrel no more. And people are like, nah, maybe they'll get the, so maybe they lose and I mean, let's be honest. It's the right, it's the people on the right, it's the MAGAs, love some Cracker Barrel. So maybe now they'll stop going and the liberal woke side will start going. The left will start eating a Cracker Barrel now. I'm surprised they ain't changed the name, really. I mean, if you're going that far, but I don't know. It's just weird that if the restaurant is doing a complete revamp, that they wouldn't change what they serve. But if it's, I don't understand. I mean, I understand them like wanting to change it because they're saying the Cracker Barrel name, I guess, was racist. I don't know the whole story behind all that. Um, I just feel like you need to, if you're gonna revamp all of that, you kind of have to revamp the food because now it's not, it just doesn't line up. Like you're gonna walk in a Cracker Barrel's new logo isn't woke, and it's not the reason the company is struggling. Yeah, they were struggling. If you go look at their stock, like everybody tells me that I got friends of mine, they just love to gossip about shit like this. I go and check the stocks. The stocks were lower like a month ago than what they are right now. So I don't. Um, but people just losing their freaking minds over a restaurant that changes their logo. Um, they removed the man and the barrel, and so everybody's just, I don't know, all up in arms. And like I said, it just happens. It's an overreaction. It happens all the damn time. Um, when COVID hit, everybody ran out and bought up all the supplies, right? Like Lysol and hand sanitizer and rubbing out. Like you couldn't find none of that shit, man. And and then everybody's like, well, it's a shortage. It's not a shortage. Y'all dumbasses went out and bought everything up faster than what they like. If they're like, all right, companies like, I don't know if people have ever run a business, but when you're in sales or you sell a product, you forecast, right? You forecast based off of like sales from last month or sales from this month or sales from 6 months ago. You look for trends and then you stock and you carry and you produce, that certain amount brought, you have to look at your numbers and then forecast, well, what is it going to be for next month? How much do we need to produce? How much do we need to keep on hand? Well, if you all of a sudden have an influx of everybody coming in buying up every damn product you got, of course the manufacturer is not going to be able to keep up with the demand. And then everybody panics. Everything's in a shortage. Oh, we're short. The toilet paper company can't make toilet paper. It's a shortage. It happens. I've seen it happen with gas. People run out buying up gas, claiming there was a gas shortage. They ain't never going to be a damn gas shortage in this country. I can tell you that right now. Not in my lifetime, not in my kids' lifetime, not in your kids' lifetime, our kids' lifetime. It just ain't. It's bullshit. And so, I mean, there was lines at the gas station. Like gas stations were like they couldn't keep the gas coming fast enough to keep the pumps full, and everybody's like, they're short on gas. It's a gas shortage. It was not a shortage. It's because all y'all stupid asses ran out and bought it up faster than they could provide it. It's common sense, but common sense isn't common anymore, as they say. So, I'm trying to read them, just see like why did they change the logo anyway? Old timer. Yeah, the old symbol was just an old man in a rocking chair leaning up against a barrel, cracker barrel. Um, go woke, go broke. uh, I'm just kind of reading a little bit here. Yeah, everything's labeled: racism, classism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, on and on and on. Everything, not everything progressive dislike is racist. Not everything that irks conservatives is woke. I would agree with that, but that's the way we're freaking programmed to think now. We have to be on one side or the other, and I hate that we live that way. I hate that we feel like we have to live that way, like we have to choose a side. I hate politics for that freaking reason because eh, it's annoying. I ain't gonna get into it. Um, yeah, they're saying the company has been in a financial slump. Like this change, and they're trying to bring it out of the slump. So they're trying to make it a little more modernized because maybe, just maybe, that business um just doesn't work anymore. Maybe people, like, I feel like the generations of the old country breakfasts and stuff, like those generations are, I mean, they're ceasing to exist. I mean, honestly, like it's a southern thing, but um yeah, I mean, they were already losing money. Their stocks were falling. I think they weren't doing as well. And so they were just trying to make a change, saying, "All right, let's see where this goes," right? And it's kind of backfired on them a little bit. But I think all the people that are up in arms, they'll go, it's short lived. Um, Cracker Barrel didn't need to go woke to go broke because it was already broke. uh, Company's trouble started April 2021. Cracker Barrel stock was selling for $175. So in April of 2021, Cracker Barrel stock was selling for $175 a share. Earlier this month, prior to the logo change or any of that, it was down to $57. So this logo change, I mean, it went as low as $37 last September. So this logo change isn't causing it. It was already on a steady decline. I mean, this might bury it, maybe. I don't know. Um, but I feel like a lot of these, like there's a Ruby Tuesdays here where I live. 8:30 tonight. I gotten it's nice outside, really nice day. It's not real hot, no humidity at all. It's like, got up, did my mowed the grass, weedy, did all that stuff, washed the truck. You know what? I'm gonna go for a ride. So I go out. I'm cruising around town. I'm the only one cruising. Nobody else was cruising strip, but just me. 49-year-old man reliving his youth of his 90s, greatest time in the world. But anyway, 8:30 at night on a Saturday night, there's not one single car in the parking lot of Ruby Tuesday. And I feel like a lot of companies are struggling. I just feel like they are. Um, like companies like Denny's and TGI Fridays, Red like TGI Fridays, Red Lobsters, like they filed for bankruptcy. Denny's has closed a bunch of locations. So it's like it's not limited to just Cracker Barrel, and it didn't have anything to do with the logo. They were already kind of tanking. Um, and it's just it's tough. Times are tough, man. Like everything's expensive. The housing market. They keep raising interest rates because they're trying to stop people from buying houses because the housing costs just keep going up and up and up, and until people stop buying, that's not going to change. So the Fed, raised interest rates, and trying to slow down buying, and it hasn't really worked. I think it's starting to now, but I mean, the interest rate's almost at 7%. Man, 7% on a house mortgage, and houses at least around here are 350 minimum. I mean, and that's not getting a lot. At 7% on that, that's a big mortgage, man. And I mean, unless you got two incomes that are bringing in over 100K a year and then some, you're not affording that. And if you get kids, and I don't know, it's rough, man. People say it's not, but I think it is. Um, I think people are just spending money because people are like, the hell with it. I'm gonna live and just be broke, or be in debt. Don't care. Um, but yeah, I think Cracker Barrel changed the logo. It didn't have anything to do with like a liberal CEO or any of that. I think they were just trying to maybe target a demographic or a younger crowd, right? Because, like I said, let's be honest, like the younger generations, they're not. It just doesn't appeal to them. They didn't grow up in a time with old country stores down the street. Like when I was a kid, we go fishing. We'd always stop at the old country store and get, night crawlers. You could buy fishing worms, and we'd get, a knee high, grape drink and a pack of nabs, which are, Lance crackers for those who don't know. And we'd go, me and my dad, and we'd go sit at the river and fish. And we'd go in the country store and get you a, fried bologna and egg sandwich and, spam sandwich, all that. Those things don't exist anymore. So like the younger generations, they don't know what that is. They don't know that life. They don't they because they didn't grow up with that. Like we did. But those generations are, like my parents or whatever, like those people are, they're passing away. They're leaving. And so it's up to us, but even as society, like like I try to, like we try to share those things with our children, right? Like the things that we did, but society changes, man. The world changes, things change, and the younger generations, they don't give a damn about some old country store. If anything, they go in there and they'll make fun of that shit. They don't care about that. So I just think Cracker Barrel was trying to revamp and do a redesign because they're losing money and they're tanking, and everybody, you know, makes it about something else. It's all about agendas, man. People are gonna find whatever to feed into their agenda, and whatever. So I'm curious to see if they do remodel all the Cracker Barrels, if they take that like country store vibe feel out, um, and how if the food will change. That'll be the first thing. Um, yeah, it says it right here. Like customers already. The older customers, which is Cracker Barrel's main demographic, that's their main consumer. Uh, yeah, the pandemic, I can see that. So they took a hit from the pandemic. Um, yeah, it's a company that's probably going to struggle. Probably will fall in line with the other companies who have filed bankruptcy, because after the pandemic, and this makes sense. The article makes sense. I was just looking at. Yeah, it's been a slow return uh, to pre-pandemic levels, and the older customers is Cracker Barrel's bread and butter, and they just those the pandemic, COVID. Um, I got something to say about that too, but uh, a lot of those people, they're not going out and eating anymore. This just is. Now it didn't stop my parents, no, but nothing stops my parents or did my mom. Nothing stopped them. They wasn't gonna let no grass grow underneath their feet. But that's what kept them young and kept them going though. And maybe COVID, because we were told it was hard on people who were older, especially like my mom and dad got it and they were fine, but it killed people. I mean, it took older people away from here, and those may have been the people that was Cracker Barrel's biggest consumer. But anyway, point is that people get all up in arms, and half the people upset probably never even made a Cracker Barrel any damn way. People just look for something to bitch about. And Cracker Barrel didn't go woke, it just went broke. It was broke before it went woke. So um anyway, do whatever you want with that. As far as COVID, I heard someone this week, someone was talking about having long COVID. And I don't know what anybody's opinion is on that. I've known people who have told me their symptoms and they say it was long COVID. But there's ex politician, I've mentioned his name before, and people came to his defense, told me how great of a guy he was, which he may be. He appears to be a great family man, a good father. I'm not questioning any of that. The man as a person. But he referred to COVID as the flu. And Nick Fritas, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but yeah, he said that on a post on Instagram this week. I thought that was interesting that you're calling COVID the flu because it was not the flu. But anyway. I also read that, like, the guy who runs, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Steak and Shake. It's not great at all. But the CEO of that company has stock in Cracker Barrel. So they created basically they created an advertising, a marketing scheme, like basically saying, we ain't woke and this, that, and the other. And it's like, why would you try to tank a company that's already tanking that you got stock in? Stupid. I don't think, and that going back to that, I don't think politicians should be allowed to have own stocks. Politicians they get involved with a lot of things from a financial standpoint, and it's corrupt. It's just easy to corrupt somebody off money. Money, as they say, is the root of all evil. So, um, I just read some of the comments from this article on Cracker Barrel. Time to stop going to Cracker Barrel. Good luck out there. The country conservative base that this restaurant store was built on is gone 180. That's not true either. Did the CEO ever work with Bud Light? Nothing says we're racist like having a massive meltdown over a company taking an old orange cracker out of the logo of a company called Cracker Barrel. I agree. Like when you tell me, well, I ain't Budweiser chose a trans person to be a spokesperson for their beer, and you get so upset, that tells me you're transphobic, you're homophobic. Like that's what that tells me. Because why is it, like, I get it, you have your morals, and people use morals as a way to judge people all the time, but you have your morals and you have what you, if you don't agree with their lifestyle, that's fine, but it bothers you that much to the point where you're like, I'm not drinking Budweiser no more. Or like the NFL, Colin Kaepernick, y'all are quick to, tell a minority that all this shit they say they go through, that it's all in your head. It's all in your head. It's not true. Can you say that's stupid? I don't see what the hoopla is about. So they changed the logo. I mean, really, for me, the logo doesn't say it all. It's what's inside that counts. Go Cracker Barrel. Yeah, so I don't know. Whatever, man. Eat Cracker Barrel. Don't eat Cracker Barrel. I don't give a damn. Well, they had this little game in there we used to play. It's like a little triangle, and you got these little pegs, and I always thought that was cool. I never ate a Cracker Barrel that much, so I didn't think the food was that great. That's just my opinion. You go in that little country store, there ain't no country store prices. I can tell you that. I can tell you damn sure. Black internet response. The root, black news and black views with a whole lot of attitude. Never seen this website before, but Black Internet responds to MAGA losing their right minds over Cracker Barrel rebrand. Changes never easy. It definitely come at a cost for restaurant and gift store chain Cracker Barrel. August 20th. August 20th, when they put out that new design, so it was only 3 days ago. Company lost $90 million in just one day, it said. They were already losing money, though, so. Anyways, man, y'all, whatever you stand for, man, like, stand your ground, man. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, as they say. I just think people get all bent out of shape over nothing, man. Like, I don't give a damn about Cracker Barrel and what they do. And some of the companies, some of the places I patronize. I don't see one right now that I can think of if they changed their logo or they did something where I'd be like, I'm not shopping there no more. That's all you gotta do. If they do something you don't agree with, say, well, I'm just not gonna give them my money, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to do that. That's really what you should do. That's how you boycott. You boycott places. I know with the whole Israel Palestine thing, a lot of people, they would look at companies that supported one side or the other, and would say, well, I'm not giving them any more of my money, and that's well within your right. You're perfectly fine doing that, and that's probably the way to handle those things instead of having rallies and standing in the street and blocking traffic, doing all that other dumb shit. Yeah, just stop patronizing those companies, giving them money, because then your money won't go towards what you don't want it to go toward. Chick-fil-A was one of them, right? Like, we all know Chick-fil-A, they're not one Sundays, Christian company, whatever. And they didn't believe in, homosexuality and trans and those, that type of thing. So they were endorsing other companies that was against that, and a lot of people were like, "No, I don't like that." So, well, then don't eat there. But most people still end up going there because that's just like crack, because it's loaded with a lot of MSG. Anyways, that's enough about Cracker Barrel and the consumer. But that's just my take on consumerism and things like that, things of that nature. Like I have a friend of mine, trying to get him on the podcast, but he created and patented a product, and he has seen his product on Amazon, a knockoff, a copycat by some Chinese company, right? And he's like, Jeff Bezos shouldn't allow that. Well, Amazon, almost a lot of things on Amazon come from China. I can tell you that. And the problem is, though, like I was telling, it's bench blocks. So anybody that's ever worked out, he created this block with these grooves where it goes into you can snap it, attach it to the bar, right? And it, for those that anybody that listens ever powerlifted, we used to have a method where you use like one board to, you basically take like a 2x4, right? And you would have a board. And so it's an overload method, right? So you wouldn't come all the way down your chest, you'd come down to the board and then press. And it was a method you would use in bench press to create more strength. You overload, right? So you'd go, say 95 to 105% of your max. And you'd have a one board, a two board, a three board. Like, a lot of suited lifters would use these boards. And so named Steve Farrell, Bench Blocks with a Z, he created this product where, instead of, because guys used to literally hold the board on your chest, or in my case, we used to take bands and we'd put the band, but a lot of people used to make boards and they'd put a little handle on it and they'd hold it and you'd press down and touch and go. Well, he created this bench block, and it has a groove cut out, and like certain sides of the block would be like mimic the width of like two boards or one board or three board or whatever. and then he made them for like different bars. Like different bars have different thicknesses. There's all different types of stuff. Like I could do a whole podcast on that. But I'm trying to get Steve on the podcast and talk about a lot of this stuff. But anyway, um, he's noticed that he's seen his knockoff product in gyms before instead of purchasing it from him, and his product is made in the U.S. People were buying it from China, and he was like, "I have a problem with Jeff Bezos. He should not allow these Chinese companies." And I said, "Well, capitalism is a wonderful thing, but it can also be a bad thing because when all these companies, shipped all their stuff overseas and uh yeah, well, we're selling something for $10, right? Right now it costs us 6 to make. So we got a $4 profit. Well, if I can get it made in China for $2 and I sell it for 10, I make an $8 profit. So I think a lot of people thought that, okay, well, you get it made cheaper, you sell it cheaper. The savings get passed down to the consumer. That's not how it works. So, a lot of people want a cheap product. They wanted to pay less for it. Well, then you got it, but you got what you paid for, and so you get a cheaper product. And unfortunately, a lot of these companies move their productions offshore in different countries, and they're paying some kid a nickel a day to sew soccer balls in Pakistan, or make you Nikes and all this other shit. So I was telling him, I was like, dude, it's not gonna matter because it's all capitalism, and it's like, how do you stop it? Don't buy from Amazon. But he tries to get out to these gyms and he endorses his product, and he'll give people, free product to use and try. And um, yeah, so that's what happened. And so like it's all about, you know, he has a product, it's American made, it's a great product, but people don't want to pay, what he's charging for it. So they'll go on Amazon and buy some cheap knockoff and taking money out of this man's pocket. And it's not fair, but um capitalism, it's good, but it's bad. And it gets, it's people take advantage of it. But yeah, hopefully I can get Steve wants to come on the podcast. He wants to talk about his product, talk about some history, talk about some fitness stuff. Very knowledgeable guy. Uh, he knows his stuff. He's a good guy. So, um, but yeah. But anyway, I think we should read. What's up with that? Some weird news headlines in the world today. So let's do it. What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? A zoo in Denmark asked patrons to donate their pets, not as attractions, but for food. You believe that shit? Hey man, you donate your chihuahua so we can feed our tigers. A European zoo stirred up intrigue and controversy after social media posts asking for surplus pets to be donated to feed captive animals went viral. In a post on Facebook, the Aalborg Zoo in Denmark asked people to donate unwanted pets that would be gently euthanized and fed to predators in captivity. Chickens, rabbits, guinea pigs form an important part of the diet of our predators, especially European lynx, which needs whole prey that resembles what it would naturally hunt in the wild. In zoos, we have a responsibility to imitate the natural food chain of the animals in terms of both animal welfare and professional integrity. That way, nothing goes to waste, and we assure natural behavior, nutrition, and well-being of our predators. That's a downfall of having those type of animals in zoos, I guess. The zoo also accepts horses as part of its fodder program. That's just wild. Uh, The Facebook post quickly became a battleground between commenters who were appalled at the concept of euthanizing healthy pets for animal food and those who applaud the zoo for its method of maintaining a practical food supply for its animals. Much of the umbrage words the zoo seem to stem from the use of the words pets to refer to animals, which called to mind the image of well-loved lap dogs being sent alive into a literal lion's den. Um, in Denmark, the practice is common. Uh, yeah, I don't think nobody, like if somebody has a cat they don't want anymore, instead of surrender it to the zoo, they'll probably just give it to an animal shelter or something. They'll be. Experts say it's important to captive animals be fed whole animal parts, including fur, bones, and organs, to maintain the sort of eating habits they would exhibit in the wild. I mean, all that makes sense to me, but I don't think they literally were asking for people. If you got a dog, need to find a new home for it, we'll take it. We'll just feed it to, whatever. I can tell you, I've known some dogs I'd have fed to a couple things. Fed my foot up their ass too. Oh, wait a minute, did I say that out loud? My bad. Anyways. Some more weird news headlines. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. What we got here? Nope. Don't want to subscribe. I hate the internet sometimes. No, I don't. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye. I don't want a video anyway. Man, my internet ain't cooperating for some reason. You'd be better prepared, wouldn't you? So what happened when you're on podcast on a regular? Hey, get back to it. These aren't weird headlines. These are just regular old headlines, man. What the hell? Here we go. What? That's crazy. Why is this so hard to do? Huh? Huh? What's up with that? Nope. A library book was returned 82 years late. What the hell? How in the hell you still had the book 82 years later? Note says grandma won't be able to pay for it anymore. A library book has been returned nearly 82 years after it was borrowed from the San Antonio Public Library. Came with a letter noting that grandma won't be able to pay for it anymore. This book is Marriage and Family Accounts of Francis Bruce Strain. It was checked out in July 1943 and returned this past June in Oregon. That's crazy as shit. They must have. It must have been. Oh, the girl says the book was borrowed by her grandmother. In that year, she transferred to Mexico City to work for the U.S. Embassy. She must have taken the book with her, and some 82 years later, it ended up in my possession. How in the hell? That's crazy. What's up with that? I'm surprised the damn library where they bought it from was still existed. Or they didn't rebuild. I guess libraries hang around longer than that. But what's up with that? What's up with that? Wonder they ain't send the library police. Remember Seinfeld? Seinfeld had the library had an investigator. His name was Bookman. That's funny. Shipment of watermelon seized at U.S. Mexico border in San Antonio. These dudes literally took methamphetamine and tried to disguise it as watermelon, and it's striped and everything, just like watermelon. Clearly, you can look at it and tell there ain't no damn watermelon. That's funny as hell. $5 million. $5 million worth of meth. Holy shit. That's a lot of watermelons. Oh, they had it mixed in with the real watermelon. They had it mixed in with the real watermelons. Come on, get it together, Michael. Officers found 1,220 packets wrapped in paper colored to look like watermelon skins. I wish you gotta look this shit up, man. That's funny. 4,587 pounds. That's a lot of meth, dude. Whole lot of motherfuckers lose their teeth with that much meth. That is a lot of meth. What we got here? What's up with that, man? Why y'all trying to smuggle that much meth? $5 million worth of meth? Come on, man. Y'all got to stop selling that shit. Kid, man, it's very important we speak to our children, our youth, to say, man, please don't get on drugs. Like, please don't. Man, that's just saying that right now, man. This big fear just like consumed my body. Intrusive thoughts, man. I don't know if anybody, I struggle with those. I ain't afraid to say it either. Some people may have those and not even know that's what they are, but man, that's got to be a fear too. Like when your kid get old enough to drive, and the first time they leave the house on their own, you know what I'm saying, and then just drugs. Man, everybody laces everything nowadays. Like people, um, it's such a sad world, man. Honestly, I'm trying not to be a bummer, but vandal smashes Ebenezer Scrooge's tombstone using a Christmas Carol movement. Why in the hell would somebody do that? That happened in London. What's up with that, man? Why are you smashing old Ebenezer Scrooge's tombstone? Wasn't even real. Ain't even a real person. Damn, they smashed it to boy. You can't even read it no more. What's up with that, man? That ain't cool. Not cool, man. Not cool. The swallowed engagement ring. Jenna Howard from San Diego had a dream where she swallowed her engagement ring. Upon waking, she realized it was missing, and after a trip to the ER, doctors confirmed she had indeed swallowed it. What's up with that? You swallowed your engagement. Why? Oh, never mind. You swallowed your engagement ring. They successfully retrieved the ring via endoscopy, leading Howard to humorously praise the ring's designer for making jewels so lovely you could eat them. Corny as shit. This dumbass. What's up with that? The photocopying burglar. In August, Gary Samuel Lamb broke into a commercial property in Toronto. During the break-in, he stopped to eat and even made a photocopy of his face, which later helped police identify him when he was arrested for another crime. Man, you gotta be one. You're a donut, dude. That's wild. What's up with that, man? One more. Record-breaking sandcastle. A resident of Gold Coast, Australia, built a 25-meter tall sandcastle. That's tall. Breaking the world record. This impressive feat took over a month to complete and attracted thousands of tourists, sparking debates about the durability of sand structures. I guess I'm going to have to start talking like this and pronunciating my words and really thinking about what I am saying, because tonight, evidently, I cannot pronunciate words. Jesus. And that's it for this week's. What's up with that?
What's up with that?
What's up with that? Yeah, man. Please, please, please talk to your kids about the dangers of drugs, man. That's got to be a hell of a fear to have, that your kid gets hooked on drugs or alcohol. Especially these days, man. It's like everything is laced with fentanyl, and it's I don't know. I don't know how you balance the, raising a good kid and walking a fine line of not keeping them so sheltered away from things. It's I mean, I'm a dad, so that's a fear of mine. And those of you out there that are parents, maybe drop me a line. Let me know what y'all do. Let me know what y'all think, man. There's a lot of things, in the world today we have to kind of we just try to do our best as parents, man, and just give our kids the knowledge to make the right decision, but also have them understand that if they do make a wrong decision, we're there, though. You know what I'm saying? We're there for them. And I had this discussion with someone in the gym earlier about gentle parenting, and people will probably say that's a woke thing too, but it's all about communication. Like, people joke around like, oh, when I was a kid, if I was crying for no reason, and no kids don't cry for no reason. I hate to tell y'all that, but kids don't cry for no reason. Everybody's like, well, they'll cry to get their way, or they'll cry, yeah, but they're upset, they're sad, there's something, they're feeling something. Kids young, they don't know how to process emotions, and so they come out in different ways, and we have to help them. Help them learn to process those emotions and deal with them. A lot of people are like, oh, my mom, how they stop me from crying? By threatening. They threaten to beat your ass with a belt. Oh, you want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about. Do you really think that was the right way, though? Like, come on, man. Nobody in their right mind has to agree with that. I'll give you something to cry about. So my kid's already visibly upset, and I'm just going to make it worse. That's good parent. That's good parenting right there. Everybody's like, hey, smack some respect into somebody. No, actually, you don't. I know plenty of people that thought they were really badass, disrespect a lot of people. They got shot. Guess what? They were still dumbasses. They were still disrespectful and didn't do. So putting a bullet in your ass don't change how you are. A butt whooping ain't changing that shit either. So do better. People do better. Think better. Think outside the box, man. You beat a kid, you just showing them that, well, in order for them to get what they want, they just use physical force. We're just going to use violence, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Respect, not fear. I don't want my child to be scared of me. I want my child to have a mutual respect and also know, like, the chain of command. But we can be respectful about it. I wouldn't want my kid to disrespect anybody, including me. But yeah, I don't think beating a kid doesn't fix it though. If anything, that's gonna make them rebel more, or they're gonna grow up and resent their parents because of that. So, but it's time. It's time. Was it Michael Buffer? UFC. Anybody watch UFC? Was that Michael Buffer? Yeah, I think it was. Let's get ready to rumble. It's time. Open Mike Mailbag. Open Mike Mailbag.
You've got mail.
Everybody's favorite segment. I know it's mine. Also, man, anybody listening to the show, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate people that listen and send emails in.
For more awesome content, like and subscribe now.
Like and subscribe, listening to this podcast. If you're watching this podcast, like, subscribe, leave a comment, send an email, openmypodcast76 at outlook.com. Might read your podcast on the air. But let's open up the mailbag and see what we got. Open mic mailbag. Let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go. Subject. Is this a safe space for a bad dad joke? For bad dad jokes, my bad. Hey, Mike, long-time listener, first-time emailer. My son told me I was too old to understand TikTok. So I retaliated with the classic, "Hi, TikTok, I'm dad." He didn't laugh, but I did. Please tell me I'm not the only one embarrassing the kids on purpose. Keep doing your thing, man. You make my money commutes tolerable. Greg, I appreciate the email, man. I appreciate the support. Long-time listener, first-time emailer. Don't be a stranger, Greg. Yeah, dad jokes, man. Dad jokes are the best thing about dad jokes is they're so corny, they're funny, right? Like they're so bad, they're good. It's like pizza. It's bad, it's still good. It's pizza. I love me some dad jokes, man. I'm not gonna lie, but that's a good one. Hi TikTok, I'm dad. Yeah, keep on embarrassing your son, man. I love it. Let's not get carried away. Like we ain't, we're not embarrassing them to the point where they're like want to go lock themselves in a room, don't come out for 3 weeks. Little things, little humor like this goes a long way. But Greg, I appreciate you listening to the show, being a long time listener. Appreciate the email. Let's keep it rocking and a rolling. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Subject: when did life get so fast? Hey, Mike. Not sure why I'm writing this, but your podcast makes me feel like I'm talking to an old friend. I turned 40 this year and suddenly feel like time is flying. Do you ever stop and think about how different life is from what you imagined when you were younger? Would love to hear your take on that, Sarah. Sarah, I appreciate you listening to the show. I appreciate the email. When I was younger, I never thought about um I never thought like what would life be like when I'm older. I just didn't. Like I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a living. Like I just went through life never really knowing what I wanted to do. Like at one point I went back to college and uh was gonna do something with computers and I was like, I just don't want to do that. And I got like a cheap associate like business management degree and I didn't even finish that. And then I transferred to another school and was like, you know what, I want to be a PE teacher. And I never finished and I decided I didn't want to be a PE teacher. Not because I love working with kids and I love coaching sports. What the hell? Doing all that but it teaching is a PE teacher's not, right? That's a little bit easier, but it just doesn't pay any money, man. Like it really doesn't. Teachers are the most probably overworked and underpaid people in the planet, or at least in the U.S. I can't speak of what they make around the world, but I just feel like they get worked a lot. And a lot of people are like, well, they got the whole summer off, Well, they probably need it to decompress from dealing with y'all snot nosed kids, being your babysitter for 8 hours a day. I should say somebody's probably gonna be offended, but um, life is fast, man. I think Ferris Bueller said it. Life is fast, and if you don't stop to smell the roses, um, what exactly did he say? Don't do me like that. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. And there you go, Ferris Bueller. Yeah, life is fast, man. And but I never really thought about life when I was younger and what it would be like when I got older. And I guess in my brain, it was like I was always young at heart. Like even now, I feel like I'm still kind of like a kid at heart. So that's my take on that. But life goes by fast, and when you get north of, I'd say 40, 50, you realize you got less years than you had on this planet probably 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that makes sense. The older you get, your time becomes more valuable because your clock is ticking. So make the best out of it, man. Sarah, I appreciate the email. Appreciate you listening to the show. Um, Here we go. Open mic or open microwave? Yo, Mike, not gonna lie, I thought your podcast was a cooking show the first time I saw the name Open Mike. Sat down with a plate of pizza rolls and everything. Stayed for the laughs though, so thanks for not disappointing. Now, just need you to do a snack review segment, please, Danny. Danny, appreciate the show. Definitely not a cooking show, but I can talk about some snacks. I don't really snack much though. I like fruit. Like lately, I've been eating a lot of Greek yogurt with strawberries, blueberries, and some peanut butter like flavored granola on top, man, for breakfast, and I cook up a few eggs. But I could eat something but man, I'll snack on like cereal. I don't know if anybody else did dry. Like I just get a handful or like chocolate chips. I'll buy chocolate chips to make pancakes with, and I'll just be like kind of craving something. I'll just get a handful of chocolate chips down the hatch. I don't know. Like when you're a parent, you got kids in the house, you always keep snacks on hand for them, right? And they end up becoming your snacks. So, but if you ain't careful, it catch up to you. Um, yeah, man. Danny, appreciate you listening to your show. Appreciate the email. Um, let's do one more. One more. Um, oh man, let's make it a good one. Mm, Here we go. Fighting through the noise. Hey, Mike, I really appreciated the episode about keeping your head straight when life feels heavy. I've been dealing with a tough breakup and some mental health struggles, and hearing you talk about finding structure and purpose helped me more than you know. Keep talking about the hard stuff that matters. Anonymous listener. I got a couple emails about mental health. Let's read that one. Let's read another one. Um, Single dad solidarity. Mike, I've been a single dad for 3 years now. Man, it's rough some days. Just wanted to say thanks for being open about your own journey. Your podcast is like free therapy, but with more laughs and less judgment. Tony. Hey, man, look, anybody out there struggling from a mental health perspective, the anonymous listener, man, breakups. I don't know how old you are. if you're younger. Where was it at? Yeah, breakups come. I mean, people come, people go, right? Breakups are hard. If you're struggling, you got some mental health things going on. Um, but I'm glad to hear that someone can listen to my podcast and feel better and know that they're not alone and that it's normal for people to go through struggles through mental health. Single parenting is not easy. You're going to have some rough days. We have rough days, whether we're parents or not. We have rough days. And so um, you just have to do your best to put on your smiley face, for your child, for your kids, and, give them the best version of you that you can do. And I've always said that, like try to be better. Um, I try to be better today than I was yesterday. And I think that's a good motto to live by. Um, it's hard, man. Life is not easy. It ain't for the faint of heart. And a lot of people say, "Well, life is what you make it." Not, I want to see homos naked. I don't know if y'all know what movie that's from, but life is what you make it, and sometimes we get dealt. I have not, but sometimes we get dealt hands that we have no control over, and we have to play those hands, right? And we we play a role in our lives, and um, I think too many people today play victim, and they, instead of trying to put in some effort, they just rather do the blame game. And life is hard, whether you're a single parent or you're just someone who struggles with some mental health. And mental health is a issue in this country that's got swept under the rug for a long time. And I think the more people talk about it, the more people bring it to the forefront, the more it'll get, people are start opening their eyes up and doing something about it. That's the problem, is getting something done about it. So um it sucks, man. And like I said, life isn't easy. Um but you gotta keep on keeping on. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Um hold on. Hold on. Don't give up, man. Life, like, if you got kids look up to you. Like I said before, you may be a small speck in the world, but to somebody, you are that world. And oh man, why am I yawning? But anyway, we're gonna sing a little jingle here as an outro. Do a little outro song, country vibes, as you know. That's what we go with. What we're gonna go with. Got a couple options here. Let's see. I gotta pick one. I need to make an outro song. Seriously. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Why is this not working? Get the hell on. What is going on here? Here we go. These are funny. Little short, little jingles. Well, the mic's gone quiet and the show's wrapped tight. Thanks for riding with us on the podcast tonight. Let me start over again. Well, the mic's gone quiet and the show's wrapped tight. Thanks for riding with us on this podcast night. It's the Open Mike Podcast. We'll see you next time where the stories keep flowing like Tennessee shine. Here we go. There's none. This was the Open Mic with the last run free, kicking back with friends, just you and me. We'll be back again, so don't you roam, because the Open Mic Podcast feels just like home. Hey, one more. That's the Open Mic Podcast where the tales take flight. We'll catch you down the road. Y'all have a good night. It ain't nighttime. Well, the mic's gone quiet and the show's wrapped tight. Thanks for riding with us on this podcast tonight. It's the Open Mic Podcast. We'll see y'all next time where the stories keep flowing like a Tennessee shine. I don't know why I keep wanting to say night. Anyways, I appreciate everybody, man. I appreciate all the emails. I appreciate everybody reaching out, all the positive and negative feedback. I like it all. I take it all in stride. And I appreciate everybody listening to the show. I appreciate everybody that takes the time out to let me be a small part of their life. And you guys are a big part of mine. And like I always say, tough times don't last, tough people do. Peace.